The crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council had witnessed many species bend the knee. The proud Zelthani with their 6 arms had prostrated themselves when faced with the Council's armada. The technological marvels of the Kethvar had meant nothing against overwhelming numbers. Even the warrior clans of Drakmor had eventually submitted after their homeworld's moon was reduced to cosmic dust as a demonstration. But humanity? Humanity simply smiled. Admiral Zexthul of the Hegemony fleet couldn't comprehend it. His massive form, standing 12 feet tall with chitinous plates gleaming under the chamber's ethereal light, loomed over the small delegation from Earth. 3 humans sat calmly at the defendants' table, their primitive clothing a stark contrast to the advanced bioluminescent robes worn by the council members. "You have heard our terms," Zexthul's voice boomed through the chamber's neural translation network. "Unconditional surrender. Your species will be relocated to the Outer Rim territories. Your homeworld will serve as a strategic outpost for the hegemony. This is not negotiable." The human in the center, they called her Ambassador Chen, leaned back in her chair with that same infuriating expression. Not defiance, not fear, just amusement. "Admiral," she said, her voice carrying, clearly despite her species' primitive vocal cords. "Before we respond, may I ask you something?" The Vorthon counselor, his tentacles writhing with impatience, interjected, "This is not a negotiation, human. You will comply or face extinction." Chen's smile widened. "Oh, I understand. But humor me. In all your conquests, all your grand campaigns, across the galaxy, have you ever wondered why you've never encountered us before?" A ripple of confusion passed through the chamber. The question seemed irrelevant, almost childish. "Your species is young," Zexthul replied with dismissive certainty. "Barely 10,000 years of recorded civilization. You have not yet reached sufficient technological development to warrant our attention until now." Interesting theory. Chen exchanged glances with her companions, Dr. Sarah Kim and General Marcus Webb. All 3 wore that same mysterious smile. "Tell me, Admiral, what do your intelligence reports say about our military capabilities?" The hegemony's military intelligence was legendary. Zexthul had personally overseen the analysis. Primitive chemical propulsion, nuclear weapons, crude but effective against your own species, some rudimentary orbital infrastructure. Nothing that poses a threat to even our scout vessels. And our population? 8 billion individuals concentrated on a single planet. No significant off-world colonies. Chen nodded thoughtfully. "And based on this intelligence, you sent how many ships for our subjugation?" "The hegemony does not waste resources on primitive species. A single dreadnought and escort fleet. More than sufficient for species at your technological level." The chamber fell silent except for the gentle hum of life support systems. Chen's smile had evolved into something that made several council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. "Admiral, that's where you made your first mistake." Before anyone could respond, the chamber's proximity alarms began blaring. The massive holographic display at the center of the room flickered to life, showing the space around the council station. Where there had been empty void moments before, ships began appearing. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands upon thousands of vessels materialized as if stepping out of nothingness itself. The display struggled to catalog them all, sleek craft that seemed to bend light around their hulls, massive constructs that dwarfed even the council's largest ships, and stranger, things that defied easy categorization. "What? How?" Zexthul's composure cracked for the first time in his military career. "You see," Chen continued conversationally, as if the galaxy's most powerful military force hadn't just been surrounded by a fleet of impossible size. "Your intelligence was both completely accurate and utterly wrong." Dr. Kim leaned forward. "Everything you detected about Earth was true. Chemical rockets, nuclear weapons, 8 billion people on one planet. What your sensors couldn't detect were the 800 billion humans living in systems you've never dreamed of." General Webb's smile turned predatory. "Or the fact that those primitive chemical rockets were just what we wanted you to see. Stealth technology has its advantages. The Vorten counselor's tentacles had gone completely still. This is impossible. Our sensors would have detected. Would they? Chen asked. Tell me, counselor, in your species' entire history of galactic conquest, have you ever encountered a civilization that chose to hide rather than expand visibly? A species that learned to mask its true capabilities while studying yours? The truth was dawning on the council members like a slow, terrible sunrise. The humans hadn't been discovered. They had revealed themselves. We've been watching you for over 3,000 years, Chen explained. Every species you've conquered, we studied. Every tactical doctrine, every technological weakness, every cultural blind spot. We learned that the Galactic Council sees only what it expects to see. Aggressive expansion, obvious displays of power, conventional military buildup. So we gave you exactly what you expected from a young species. We kept Earth looking primitive, while we built our real civilization in spaces between spaces and dimensions you never thought to look. Admiral Zexthal's voice was barely a whisper. What? What do you want? The same thing we've always wanted, General Webb replied. To be left alone. But since you've made that impossible. Chen stood, and for the first time, her smile carried an edge that made the chamber's temperature seem to drop. The Galactic Council will dissolve. Your hegemony fleets will withdraw to your home systems. Every species you've conquered will be offered their independence back. And if we refuse? The question came from a Zelthani council member whose arms were trembling. Dr. Kim activated a small device. The holographic display shifted to show detailed schematics of every major hegemony installation, complete with tactical assessments and infiltration routes. Then you'll discover why humanity chose to smile instead of surrender. The chamber fell into absolute silence. Outside, the human fleet waited with the patience of a species that had spent millennia preparing for this moment. Ambassador Chen's smile never wavered. So, Admiral Zexthul, shall we discuss your surrender terms?